I know how y'all work. Some of y'all gonna go and get some drinks later. It's Friday night in Norfolk. You wanna get your buzz on. So you ain't gonna buy the book because you wanna get your buzz on. So I gotta give you something for free. That you can use to save. Now, first thing I need you all to understand about law, educational law in America, special ed, regular ed. If your child has a disability, they have a right to a FAPE and an LRE. If you got a child in special ed, thinking about putting them in special ed or not in special ed, you need to understand this. What is FAPE? This comes straight from special ed law. FAPE stands for free and appropriate public education. If your child has a disability in America, it is free. They cannot make them pay for blind instruction. They cannot make them pay for deaf instruction. They cannot make them pay for autistic instruction. They cannot make them pay for speech and language impairment. If your child has a disability, whatever they need in order to learn must be free. Now you say, Dr. Umar, that's common sense. No, it's not, because some of y'all got children in special ed with an IEP and you paying for after school programs. Yeah. You paying for tutoring. You paying for assistive technology. Why are you paying for assistive technology? Do you not understand that special ed is a business, and special ed is a racket, and special ed is a hustle, and whenever I put your child in special ed, they get twice the money as the regular kids? Oh yeah. So let's say hypothetically in Norfolk, they give the regular kids $9,000 a year per education of a child. Hypothetically. That means the minute Dr. Umar evaluates that child and say they speech impaired, or blind, or deaf, or autistic, or brain injury, or orthopedic impairment, or multiple disability, or intellectual disability, or emotional disturbance, or reading disability, or math disability, their name go into a computer. What's the state capital of North Carolina? State capital of North Carolina. Excuse me, Virginia, I'm sorry.
Richmond.
Richmond is the state capital. Gabriel Prosser Town. I put their name in the computer, it goes to Richmond, and by the end of the month, guess what happens? An electronic welfare check is sent to the school district with your child's name on it. Special ed is a business. They get paid for it. That's why they like putting black kids in special ed. You thought they want to help your child. No, they don't. It's about money. Money! So let me ask you a question. If one black boy gets an extra $11,000, so he's worth $22,000, his classmates are worth $11,000. You were silly enough to put him in special ed in the second grade. And I'm going to come back to that in a minute. You were goofy enough to put him in special ed in first grade. He's in second grade. He got 10 more years of school, right? So if he's worth $11,000 extra a year, and he got 10 more years in school, that's $110,000 more. Am I correct? 11,000 times 10 more years, 110,000 for one black boy in Norfolk. What about 100 black boys in Norfolk? What about 500 black boys in Norfolk? Does anybody in here know exactly how many black boys have an IEP so we can multiply that and find out what the multi-million-dollar budget is for miseducating black boys in Norfolk? What about Chesapeake? What about Suffolk? What about Hampton and Newport News? In fact, I'm wondering how much money all 7 of these cities is making miseducating your child because you're dumb enough to do what white folks tell you to do. And stop calling me up saying, Dr. Umar, they put my child in special ed. Don't tell me what they did. Tell me what you did, because you have to sign a paper 4 times before that child goes into a special ed class. That's right. You just as guilty as the crackers are. You got to sign your name for me to evaluate. Back up. You got to sign your name for me to evaluate, the permission to evaluate. Once I produce the psychological evaluation, you got to sign that you agree to that. And then when they produce the IEP, you got to sign that you agree to that. And then you have to sign the special ed service agreement, which authorizes them to take the child from the class and go service them elsewhere. Your signature was required 4 times. Stop telling me what they doing. Tell me what you doing. And next of all, stop evaluating 7-year-old babies and younger. That's crazy. I'm seeing 3-year-olds with ADHD labels. 5-year-old. How you 5 with a reading disability? You just showed up in kindergarten last week. Because white folks told you to do it, so you just go run and do it. Doesn't make any sense. And do you know that even though there's 13 special ed disabilities, the reading disability is the primary reason for black children being in special ed. So when we talk about the disabilities, Virginia, we're talking about blind children, deaf children, children who are blind and deaf. We're talking about orthopedically impaired, multiple disabilities. But guess